Well, we have gone from days of glorious sunshine in August to nothing but drizzle and howling gales in September, which is extremely unusual for Pembrokeshire. Normally, it's really good weather in September, so it feels distinctly autumnal. In this week's video, I'm doing a bit of thrifting for some craft supplies, but the most important thing I must do is walk the little dog. So I'm going to turn the camera around, show you where we are. We're on Goodwick Moor, which is a nature reserve, and it's all looking a bit end of season, but we're going to walk across the moor and then head to the beach and just walk along the beach. So we are back in the conservatory, and yes, I am holding the microphone like I'm a teenager, but I attached it to my clothing underneath this and recorded it, checked it back, and all you heard was rustling. So I'm re-recording it, and this time holding the microphone as though I am a teenage influencer. So we're just going to go with it, because in a moment I'm going to have to take this off because it's actually a bit too hot. Anyway, as you can see, I have finally finished my wrap, and it took a long time, but that's fine because, you know, it's all about the slow crafting, isn't it? And I washed the fleece. It was a local fleece from a lady who lives just up the road. So I washed it, dried it, prepared it, spun it, knitted it, and it's all done and it's lovely. So I'm going to take it off now so that I can attach this microphone and don't have to hold it like a fool. So there you go. I can stop looking like a teenager. Well, that's the only part of me that was looking like a teenager. Anyway, yes, so finitoed, and the only place you can get this pattern, and several people have asked me, is, oh, hang on, specs on, is Landscape Magazine 2023 edition, and it is available as a back issue, and it's a very, very simple pattern actually. It's a 12-row repeat, and great for handspun, because as with a lot of wraps, you can just, you know, knit it as long as you need it, so that getting gauge is, you know, it's all relative. So I really enjoyed knitting it, although it took a really long time to finish it. But you will notice that about me. I take a very long time to finish projects. So what else is on the agenda for this week? We have visitors, won't be filming them. They don't want to be filmed. And then in about 2 weeks' time, we've got somebody else coming for lunch. And then in about 3 weeks' time, we've got visitors again. So it's going to be a very busy few weeks. And one of the things I really want to do is actually get some seasonal decorations for this room. And it's not a very British thing to do. I mean, I've seen it on a lot of American vlogs and I really like it. And I thought, you know what? I'd like to do that. And as we've got visitors coming, what an excellent opportunity to spruce the place up a little bit. And I will, of course, be making, foraging and thrifting for said decor. So one of the things I want to get done this week is beginning to source some of those from the charity shop. One of the other things I want to do this week is actually do some mending, and I've got an awful lot of mending to do, but one of the things I particularly want to mend is this. And this is my favourite apron of all time. It is about 1 million years old. Well, not 1 million years old. So a very, very dear friend of mine bought it in the late 90s in Moscow when he was working as a teacher out there. He was doing a degree in Russian and politics, and as part of the degree he did a year as a kind of English teacher in Moscow. And that was one of the very few things you could actually get, was things like this, which I was delighted with and have kind of treasured it ever since. So I would like to repair it. So I will be thrifting for craft supplies to repair that. So while on the subject of mending, I have a book to share with you. and this has just come into my life, Creative Mending by a lady who is Japanese, who I'm now not going to pronounce her name correctly. No, I'm going to get this wrong. I keep getting this wrong. This is about take 26. So Higaru Noguchi, Higaru Noguchi. I think I've probably got that wrong. It's fine to correct me in the comments, that's fine. But yeah, so I will put all the details in the description, and it will be an Amazon link. If you don't like shopping with Amazon, don't use it, that's fine. Anyway, right, so what is this book all about? 300 colourful photographs of many mending and darning techniques. And as somebody who was very bad at invisible mending when I did my O-level textile and design, my mending that was supposed to be invisible was pretty visible. I'm kind of embracing the visible mending. And I've got to the point where a lot of my clothes either have been mended, need mending, or are at the point where I can't even wear them in the garden. So the other thing I'm going to look for, well, I'm at the charity shop, thrift shop, op shop, depending on what part of the country you live in or what part of the world you live in, then I am going to be looking for some nice secondhand clothes to replace some of the slightly falling apart ones. And I like to try and find things that are made out of natural fibres, and ideally cotton and linen and wool. If I find something and it's viscose, I kind of think, secondhand viscose, okay, it's all right, not my kind of gold standard, but it is becoming increasingly difficult to find really nice secondhand things I'm finding. So that is the mission. I also need to go to the supermarket because I need to buy gin, because the other thing I want to get done this week is making the sloe gin. As we have visitors, I probably don't have any time to do any spinning, so there probably won't be any spinning in this video, but I think there will be in the next video. Right, so next job, supermarket. Millie and I have just had a walk in the drizzle, and now we're off to Fishguard to have a look in the charity shop, one in particular that I really like and quite often has really good crafting stuff. Then down the A40, next favourite charity shop, then to the supermarket, quick whiz round the supermarket, buying ingredients for sloe gin, and I mustn't forget it because I've just remembered I didn't write it on my list, so I must do that, and then back home. And the forecast is for more drizzle. Billy, what are you growling at? Anyway, see you in a minute. As is often the case, I'm on a bit of a time schedule, so I'm heading straight for the crafting department. I'm not going to have time to go through all the clothes because I've got another charity shop to get to, plus I've got to go to the supermarket. There are some nice little bits and pieces here, and there are some knitting patterns, but nothing really vintage. They're quite modern looking, but you know, it's always worth checking through just to see if there's anything really good, anything that I think might be suitable to send to you on the newsletter. If you're not on the newsletter, I will put that in the description below so that you can join, and as a thank you, there is a breed study printed sheet for you, so if you are doing a breed study, you've got a sheet ready made for you. So we've just pulled up at our next stop. I've got a couple of bits in Fishguard, but I'm not bothered if I don't get kind of everything all at once. You know, I kind of come charity shopping quite regularly, so I'm just gonna pick bits up as I kind of go. So into the next one, and then off to the supermarket. We are just at the end of the tourist season, and these charity shops have been worked hard by the tourists, but they did have a lovely selection of hardback books. And one of the things I do is, rather than buying expensive glossy magazines, which I really do love, I buy hardback books, again ones that I really love, read them, and then redonate them, or sometimes I even sell them on World of Books. There were another few nice little bits and pieces, and I looked in their big shed, which has got lots of household things, and then I went into the crafting department, which looked like it had been well worked over, but still I found some pieces. So did pretty well there. You can probably hear it's absolutely hammering down. Going to go to the supermarket, then we're going to head home and yeah, see what we found. Whether I've got time to actually show you slow gin making or whether that needs to be a separate video, I think I'm going to assess when I get home. But anyway, next stop, supermarket. Gone are the days when I can shop at the farmer's market, but as a semi-retired person, I am on a budget, so I love Lidl. And they had some really nice little bits of autumn display, and I was tempted, but no, I'm going to make my own. All importantly, mustn't forget the bottle of gin. So I'm back, and it's raining quite a lot. The patio has got about 2 inches of water on it. I think the roof's going to be very noisy, but I'm really hoping that the noise cancelling on this microphone is going to cut that out. My coat is hanging up there. I am a bit kind of bedraggled, but I sort of had quite a successful shop really. And the first thing I'm going to start with is just talk about the slow gin. I definitely don't have time to film the slow gin, so that will be another video, I think. It might even be a bonus video this week. I'll see how the week goes. And I have a little bottle of gin, and it doesn't need to be anything fancy because you're going to flavour it, so just, you know, kind of bog standard, whatever's cheapest. Gin, and we have granulated sugar, and then in the freezer I have my sloes. There are still sloes out in the bushes to be picked. I've done some natural dyeing with them because I picked quite a lot, and then I've got enough in the freezer to make a small batch of sloe gin. And we have discovered that we really only need quite a small batch of sloe gin because we have not drunk last year's, which wasn't actually last year's, it was the year before's, and something's just fallen off. I'm going to have to check out what that was. So a snail was making its way into the conservatory. I mean, I'm used to the spiders coming in here, but a snail? So that's going to have to go back outside. So what was I saying before a snail hurled itself at me? I mean, it obviously didn't, it just fell off the window. Anyway, right, yes, so sloes. What I do is I pick them and I put them in the freezer because traditionally they were always better if they had had some frost on them. But if you wait until it's frosty here, you'd be waiting until the end of November, by which time either all the birds will have eaten them or they're all kind of shriveled up and they're no good. So I pick them as they're getting ripe, which is the end of August, beginning of September, pop them in the freezer and then use them as and when to make my slow gin. You'll also hear people talk about using a silver pin to pierce the skins. What a load of old codswallop. Doesn't make any difference at all. Trust me, I've sat there and like stuck a pin in, not a silver one, but just like stuck a pin in every single berry. No difference whatsoever. So don't bother with that. Just kind of whack it in your gin with your sugar, and I will make a full video on how to do that very shortly, but just not today. Okay, so how did I do at the charity shop? I spent £12.50 and I got things from 2 different charity shops. I started getting things for my autumn decorations. I got a few household things and, you know, kind of just because I wanted them. And I also did not get anything to do my mending with. So I'm going to have a look and see if I've got anything in the stash that I can do that mending with. So what was my first item? Okay, so this, and it's got a little hanger on it, and it's just sort of plywood been cut out and then just printed on, just says welcome, and that was £1.50, so which is actually, I thought it was £2, but it was £1.50, so I in fact spent £12, not £12.50. So there you go. Anyway, so that's going to go on the door. And I have a hook that I normally put the Christmas wreath on. So I'm going to put that on the hook that has the Christmas wreath on normally. Then next thing, where has it gone? Okay, now this is ribbon, and it's a cotton ribbon, and it looks quite sort of vintage. I mean, this style of printing kind of looks 1960s to me. It might not be, but the fact that it's in inches, it's an inch wide and 36 yards long, tells me that it was pre-1971. So actually it's got to be 60s, hasn't it? Or maybe early 70s. And that, I think I'm going to use for I'm going to do a sort of like some bunting or some flags. And that's my idea. And I've been kind of trawling through Pinterest looking for ideas. So I think that's going to be the ribbon for my flags that are going to just kind of go across the window or maybe go across that. So very pleased with that find. And that was a whole 50p. Then in here we have, ta-da, a book. So nothing to do with decorating for autumn, just Kay Fassett's autobiography. And that was £2, and when it was new, it was £25, so wow. But I'm going to really look forward to reading that. Then what else have we got in here? The magical bag. So a bottle with one of those tops. And it's a Kilner bottle, and it was probably designed for oil, but I'm going to put some of our cider in it when I bottle it, because we're after bottles with those type of tops for the cider. So 50p. Then this is what is it? Well, I think the idea is that it's a cushion cover, and it's one of these kits where it's been printed on and you embroider. But I am going to use it for the base of my flags. So I mean, I haven't quite worked it all out, but that's the cunning plan. And how much was that? Oh, that was £1. Then again, nothing really to do with decorating, but these are Power Thought cards by Louise Hay, and they're illustrated kind of positive cards. All is well in my world. So they've got nice little messages on them, and they've got lovely illustrations, kind of mixed media illustrations, and I've kind of bought them as an idea for something to have in my Etsy shop. I mean, obviously they wouldn't be exactly like this, because this is her work and I wouldn't copy it, but I sort of liked them, and it was £1, and I just thought they would be kind of a good little inspiration, and also quite nice just to pop on the computer with nice little kind of sentiments and sayings on them. So that was £1, and that was, oh, it hasn't got a British price on it. It was $17.99 US, $23.99 Canadian when it was new. So £1 I thought was pretty good for that. Then last thing in my massive bag, and this was a whole £5. You can probably hear it's quite clinky, and that's the lid. And it's not another casserole dish. It's a stoneware bread bin, and it's really heavy, and it was £5. But I have been looking for one of these for the longest time. I'm going to give it a good wash, and I'm actually in the middle of making bread at the moment, hence why I've got my pinny on. I just put the bread to rise, and I thought, well, I'll take this opportunity to make the video, because I don't think it's going to stop raining. I really want it to stop raining. I hope you can hear this. I really hope you can. Otherwise I shall have to re-record everything. Oh, dear. And then last thing, when I got home, very last thing, where is it? So in the post box when I got home was my copy of Spin-Off magazine. Hurrah! So that's the autumn Spin-Off magazine. So that's another thing to enjoy. Now I have started to think about my sort of decor and what I'm going to do. And on this table that obviously you can't see, it's out of shot, we use this as our dining table. And I have a table runner on it, which I made, which is in blue. And I have another one, to one of my woven efforts, which is kind of oranges. So I'm going to use this on the table as a table runner. Then behind here, there, those are teasels, and I just cut them out of the garden and just plop them in there, kind of very inelegantly. And they are going to be the kind of the basis of my floral arrangement that's going to go in the centre of the table. So those are sort of some of the plans. I also have plans for some knitted items, hence I will have to spin. So my plan for next week's video is spinning to knit for autumn decor. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you in the next video.